This right here is the Viltrox 24mm f1.8 full frame Sony E-mount lens. So I'm going to be reviewing this lens in this video, but most of this is going to be example photos I took with this. I'm a firm believer of, the specs are obviously important and they're one thing to look at, but what you can actually get out of a camera and the lens is much more important. So I'm going to show you a bunch of examples of what you can take with this. Of course, I'm going to go over the specs and the technicals of this lens as well. And also, one more thing before we get started, Viltrox did send me this lens for free to make this review on. However, they didn't pay me to make this video and they didn't give me anything specific to say. Everything I say in this video is 100% my opinion, so I just want to be clear with that. But without further ado, let's get into this review. So first of all, this lens is basically completely made out of metal and glass. The focus and aperture rings are even made out of metal, the filter threads are metal. Basically this entire thing is made out of metal, including of course the mount on the lens. However, there's no weather sealing, there's no gasket on the mount area or any sort of weather sealing at all with this lens, which of course is something you can kind of expect with budget lenses like this, which I will go over the pricing of this lens and talk a little bit more about that later on, so stay tuned for that. Now there is a USB-C firmware update port on the mount of the lens as well, so you can update the firmware, which is super nice. You don't need a special base plate thing like you need for some of the Sigma lenses. The focus ring on this is super smooth, really well dampened. It feels really nice, which is great. However, the aperture ring, I don't know if this is with all lenses, but I noticed on mine that it's really rough and kind of loud, and it just feels like it's not even greased at all. I went over this on my unboxing video as well, so like I said, go check that out if you'd like to, but I'll go ahead and just show you a little example of what it sounds like real quick. It's really weird and I don't like it that much. It's definitely one of my least favorite things about this. However, it is smooth and declicked, as you can see. So I don't know if you could hear that, but it just sounds really weird and just does not sound good at all. But it is a manual aperture ring and it's declicked like I said. So you can set your aperture completely manually, or you can go all the way over to this A here and control it with your camera like a normal electronic lens. Now also in terms of the body of this lens, there's no switches or buttons anywhere on this lens, which is another little bit of a downside for me personally. I would have liked to have a manual to autofocus switch on here so I don't have to go into the settings of my camera or set a custom button on my camera to change from manual to autofocus. However, it's not a deal breaker or it's not a super huge deal. But there's also no stabilization in this lens. There's not a stabilization switch or anything like that, or a programmable button like a lot of the newer Sony lenses have either. And last but not least, it has a 55mm metal lens thread, which is pretty common, and it weighs 340 grams, so it's quite light, and obviously you can see it's pretty small as well. Alright, so now let's get into some photos and some more technical specs of this lens. First things first, sharpness. I don't think anyone will ever say that this lens isn't sharp enough for what they need. Even wide open, it's really sharp. Again, obviously it's not going to be as tack sharp as a Sigma 24mm or the Sony G Master, but being like a third of the price of the Sony, you're probably at about 75% or even 80% of the amount of sharpness in that lens. Unless you crop in a bunch in the image, you probably wouldn't notice it at all. And then I noticed chromatic aberration with this lens is very low. This is something that other Viltrox lenses I've used in the past definitely had issues with. However, this lens has a very low amount of chromatic aberration. Of course, not as good as a lens that's going to be 3 times as expensive, but that's another thing that I don't even think you need to worry about. You're just not going to notice it in any normal situations. Then when it comes to close focus distance, this definitely is not a macro lens, and you can't get as close as I would have liked with this lens and still be in focus. However, of course, it's a wide angle lens, it's 24mm, so it's kind of meant more for landscape photography or night sky photography or videos like this. I'm actually using a 24mm equivalent lens right now to record this, and I'm not gonna get too close in this type of thing or, in landscape photography where you're gonna have an issue with the close focus distance. But either way, I'm sure you saw some examples of how close you can get to things with this. The close focus distance is about 11.8 inches. Next up, autofocus. I don't even need to go in depth on this. This lens works amazing with eye autofocus, with face tracking, really anything. This lens is super fast. It's pretty much silent. I haven't once heard the autofocus at all. I'm sure if you got really close to it, you might be able to hear it. But in terms of autofocus, this lens is basically the best you can get besides being a brand new Sony expensive G Master lens. That's basically as deep as I need to go with that. This lens has amazing autofocus, it's basically silent, and it'll pretty much keep up with whatever camera you use in terms of autofocus speed and performance. Now the only issue I've really noticed with this lens is it has quite a lot of vignetting. It's mostly gone by the time you stop down to f2.8 and especially by f4. But it's definitely pretty heavy wide open. Now in my personal opinion and in my use cases, it's not really an issue for me, and I can just correct it in Photoshop, or even sometimes, I like that effect or just don't notice it a whole lot. But I can definitely see how this can be an issue for some people, so I want to bring that up. But last up, I want to talk about the price. So this lens right now, unless it's on sale or something like that, comes in right at $429. Basically a third of the price of Sony's G Master lens, while being like 80% of the way there. That is an amazing price point for this lens, and I'd say it is 100% worth the $430 price tag. Definitely, if you haven't already, feel free to go down, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. And that wraps this video up. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.